what I want to talk about are these ESPN social media rules, because I think there's really something to look at here. So let me just pull this up because I think this is really critical. If I can find it, my goodness. Okay, here it is. Okay. So I'm just going to read some of these new rules to all of you. I found what I was looking for right here. Okay. So it says, this is a 3-page document. So under the social or political and social issues. So I'm going to read a bit here. It's separated into 2 bits. We have news and then we have commentary. So under news, it says, news reporters should be accurate, appropriately sourced, and approved through normal editorial channels. Original news reports should not include statements of support, opposition, partisanship related to any social issue, political position, candidate, or office holder. Writers, reporters, producers, editors involved in hard news reporting, investigated, or enterprise assignments related to coverage should refrain in any public-facing forum from taking positions. Okay, so that I feel is totally fair because the news is not editorialized. So that's all fine. Now we move to the commentary part, which... Okay, so subject matter should merit our audience's interests and be worthy of our time. This next bullet is the kicker for me. The topic should be related to current issues impacting sports unless otherwise approved by senior editorial management. This condition may vary for content appearing on platforms within broader editorial missions, such as the Undefeated, 538, and ESPNW. Okay, so... here's my problem with that and why that's so vague for me. So there is a very different agenda on ESPNW and on the Undefeated compared to just SportsCenter and ESPN. Jamel Hill contributes quite a bit to ESPNW and the Undefeated. So she could make the argument that what she's saying could apply to more of the editorializing done on ESPNW or the Undefeated. She has come out and she spoke to the TMZ and she said, yeah, I deserve to be suspended. I feel like it was that first tweet that was more worthy of suspension than the one about the Cowboys, because that was explaining the news, that was analysis, that was saying this is a problem for athletes. The last bit that I want to talk about is it says communication with producers and excuse me, editors must take place prior to commentary on any political or social issues to manage volume and ensure a fair and effective presentation. This applies on Twitter, Facebook, and other media. So this really is tightening their editorial process, and it's saying that, okay, even social media is a form, it can be editorialized. I don't know. Is this a call for more censorship? I'm trying to figure that out myself. But the point I wanted to make, and before we sign off, I wanted to say this. So ESPN is so concerned with protecting itself from scrutiny from Washington, scrutiny from other sources of media. But what are they doing about potential sexual harassment allegations? I found this really interesting piece from the PopZet, Pop Culture Explained, and it says, ESPN facing sexual harassment allegations and other controversies. I don't know if it's failing, but they say failing sports network tried to take the moral high road, but it's just another misstep in a long journey from the top to the bottom. So this article talks about the Barstool Sports partnership that got canceled. And it got canceled because of how this organization, Barstool Sports, treats women. There was a tweet here from Jen Sturger, and she said, "Since we are being honest, I will say this. I hate how Barstool Sports treats women, but the other side is just as bad." ESPN is having some trouble here. They want to be progressive. They want to support their voices of color, their voices of diversity, but they're laying down these social media rules. And also, to be honest, I think, the Weinstein effect will travel to ESPN. I think they need to be careful. I think ESPN and sports media is next. I really do. And so I think it's ironic that they're not looking at this. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm naive. But I was reading reports about harassment cases filed against Chris Berman. He recently retired, isn't on ESPN as much. But we've heard about Sarah Spain talk about how she was harassed at other networks that she was applying for jobs at. So I think ESPN needs to maybe refocus because potential sexual harassment allegations at this time could look even worse than potentially displeasing our President of the United States. And just one last note about that. I find that the response in Hollywood has been really something. When this comes out about Kevin Spacey and what have you, his management company says, nope, we're not working with you anymore. I want to see the sports world really do the same thing. I want to see the sports world come down on these people harder. So anyway, with that being said, thank you for listening to Everybody Talks, a show where we discuss feminism and sports.